Good morning, everybody. Hope you've been managing to have a little bit of fun lately. And that's actually the topic of my talk, fun. And so I'm going to start by sharing a couple of experiences I had a few years ago and contrasting them to think about this. So first, this is one of the funnest things I can imagine. This is a roller coaster in Ohio where I grew up. And unlike a lot of roller coasters where you slowly go up to the top of the hill and then drop down, this one you start off flat and it rockets you from 0 to 120 miles an hour in 4 seconds and shoots you straight up 400 feet in the air before you come straight back down to the ground and back to the station. Very short, but very fast. So I'm going to give you a little taste of what it's like with this video. Unfortunately, I don't have any VR video, but I think this will give you an idea.
This is the view from the front row, and it's not been edited, sped up, or altered in any way.
So that is just astonishingly intense to ride. A lot of fun. So the other experience I want to talk about is this hike I took at Lassen National Park. There was this loop trail around some lakes and lava fields, and I could do it two directions, and I decided to do it in the direction that would save the best for last, the cinder cone that I was going to hike to the top of. And the map made it look like it wasn't that long of a hike, so I just threw a water bottle in my backpack and headed out. And about 9 miles later, I realized that I had gotten myself into a lot tougher afternoon than I'd expected. I did not have enough water with me. I was exhausted, and I thought about hiking to the top of this cinder cone. But I felt like, I've come this far, I should just go for it. It was so hard. The cinders just kind of slip under your feet, take a step forward, and you slide 2 steps back. But finally, I made it to the top and saw this double crater and the view of the other volcanoes, and I just started crying. Was this fun? No, not really. In some ways, it was a lot better than the roller coaster, but also worse. And I actually think there's a better word for this than fun, although sometimes it gets called type 2 fun. To me, this is rewarding. So it's something similar to fun, but there's an important distinction. And what I've come to realize is that there are real implications for how we live in thinking about fun versus rewarding. So what is the difference between the roller coaster and the mountain? They both feel good, but feeling bad is also a part of both. So this is my pleasure versus time graph with who knows what the units are. But when you have fun, you do the activity, it's fun, and then there's kind of a letdown afterwards sometimes. And then you kind of return to normal. It depends on the kind of fun, what the letdown is like. After a drug-induced high, the low can be physical illness. And the next time you do the fun thing, it's actually not as fun. Repetition dulls you. And psychologists have a word for this, hedonic adaptation. So to get the same thrill, next time you have to go on a bigger roller coaster, which is part of why they keep building bigger and bigger roller coasters. And so this phenomenon, if you repeatedly do fun things, is called the hedonic treadmill. And besides you not getting as high of peaks, it also depresses your emotional baseline. And this is part of the dynamics of addiction. Just seeking to get above your baseline and feel good drives you to keep doing the addictive thing, and also drives your happiness level down. So the dynamics of rewarding are kind of reversed. The unpleasant part comes first. It's called work. And then you get the payoff. And there also is a cycle with this that's similar but also opposite to the hedonic treadmill. When you do something rewarding, you become willing to work even harder. And with time, you do greater and more amazing things because you're willing to work harder, and you come to feel even better about yourself. So I want to give you some examples of these two things. You can go watch a movie, and that's fun. Maybe not in a theater this week. Or you can make a movie, which is rewarding. You can watch a sport, which is fun. Or you can play a sport, which is rewarding. You can have friends who are just like you, maybe not this much, and that's fun. But you can also have friends who are very different from yourself, which has its own challenges and rewards. You can go out for a fancy dinner. That's fun. Or you can grow your own food and cook your own gourmet dinner, which would be a lot more rewarding. So those are pretty easy examples, but the distinction isn't always so clear. People talk about video games being fun, but when you think about it, good games are actually really frustrating, and they're enjoyable because of the sense of accomplishment you get. So I would say that that's rewarding. But then, of course, there's games like Candy Crush that really don't take any skill, that are neither fun nor rewarding, but somehow the way they hit your dopamine centers, they're still addictive. And fun and rewarding, I don't think, are mutually exclusive. Whitewater rafting takes some work, but it's really more fun than you work for. It's not like you built your own raft. And you can also use fun as a reward, especially if you're doing something that isn't rewarding in the short term but has a long-term payoff. You can tell yourself, when I add 5 sources to my bibliography, I can go play Tekken or Fall Guys. Or I can FaceTime my friend as soon as I unload the dishwasher. So I think this really is one of the big questions in life. How do we spend our time, our work time, and our free time? And in answering this, I think it's useful to think about whether it's better for life to be fun or rewarding. So the reality is, nobody will pay you to just have fun. These people, they had to pay to get into this socially distanced Dutch nightclub. You can have a job that's rewarding, however. Some people don't worry about a rewarding job. They get a job that they don't like, but which pays them enough money so that they can buy fun. That seems like a pretty unsatisfying life to me. If your job is really rewarding, making tons of money so that you can buy fun isn't really necessary. Because rewarding isn't something that you can buy. It's something you have to work for. So while I do think that you should definitely ride some roller coasters, I hope that fun isn't all that you fill your life with. I think you'll find life more satisfying if you climb some mountains too. The bigger, the better. Thank you very much.